time for what? Yeah, that's right. We can't get started yet.
I love Mr. Miyachi.
Oh, there we go.
Have fun, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Here you go, sir.
All right. That means our meeting has officially started. But I guess it can't really officially be started until we have the on-time drawing. So if you, I see there's a couple of blank spaces here.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I don't think everybody signed in.
Well, that's their problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what are we giving away? Look what we have. First of all, we have this wonderful ROC title bag. We have a mouse pad. We have a squeezy thing from American Home Shield. Stress ball, notepad, some pens, and a straw. A reusable straw.
That's fancy.
Grandbaby will like that.
What for? Way to interrupt.
I'm sorry.
All right. All right, so we have 13, and lucky number is 5, Cynthia.
Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Winner, winner.
That's me.
All right, what else are we doing? What happened here? All right, so first of all, remember, check in on Facebook, take pictures, but here's the thing. Take some pictures during the meeting and then actually physically check in after the meeting so that you can post pictures. So if you need me to pose, just let me know. Some call me a poser. All right, let's talk about some Rev-Up trainings coming up tomorrow. Module 6, working with buyers, getting your offers accepted right here in this office, 9 to 11. And then Monday, it's also working with buyers, getting your offers accepted via Zoom only, Monday at 4 o'clock. Next Wednesday is holding successful open houses, 1 to 3 here in the office, and I will be the instructor on that one. And then next Friday, Module 8, Financing a Sale and Mortgage Basics, here in the office, and Jim will be here to teach that one. So remember that these are not just for new licensees, new agents. Experienced agents can come to these as well. And I love it when experienced agents come, because I pick on them. All right, hey, we have a special guest here. Aaron Manfredi is not only running for office, but he's one of ours. He is one of our agents. So a big warm welcome for Aaron. What is happening, Aaron?
So my name is Aaron Manfredi.
We would have never guessed.
You never guessed. I'm here in this office, and I've been an agent for like 3 years. And so I know a lot of familiar faces coming and going and more online. So really what I'm here to do is talk about my race, but also the importance of voting. I know a lot of people always say, well, you know, my vote doesn't count, it's not being tracked, and I'll just do it next time. I'll say this, that when I ran in 2018, I won my original primary election by 4 votes.
Wow.
The closest race in the history of this town. And that right there was proof that every vote does count. And it was funny because I had friends that were saying, "Hey, we were the house of 4. We were the ones that got you over the hump." And then there was a revote on that. Allegedly some people voted twice, so they say, and we had to redo the vote and all that. So I didn't advance in the revote. But so get out and vote. It is important. You're getting your mail ballots in. You cannot fill that one out and mail it in, and then go vote in person. That is a felony, and so that's a big no-no. So I always say that voting in person is such an American thing to do. It's a great feeling about doing it, and I highly encourage doing it in person. So therefore, your vote gets counted. In the mails, as we know, takes forever.
Greater
And so,
control.
yes, and if it's not counted by, if it's not postmarked by the 14th, then it is, if you put it in the mail, it doesn't count, okay? So my particular race is a regent. How many of you know what a regent does? That's why I'm here. So when I ran in 2018 for public administrator, same thing. I went around educating people. Now a lot of you probably know what that is when it comes to probate and estate, especially in the real estate business, right? So you're probably more familiar with that one. Regents are in charge of two things for higher education. They set policy and approve budgets. And that's the easiest way to remember it. So you have trustees that handle K through 12, and then you have the regents. There's 13 of us, or 13 as we speak, and they're represented by different districts. They are all elected. Other states, they are appointed. And part of my campaign is trying to switch to a hybrid board so that we have some highly qualified regents on there, and then we also have those that are represented by the people, which is super important. So as far as my campaign, if you live in Mountain's Edge, if you live way northwest, Elkhorn, Farm Road, Jones Decatur, outside of Nellis, and then of course I'm all rural, so if you go to Pahrump, Town of Blue Diamond, Elko, Eureka, and all that stuff, that's my district, so we're all broken up. If any of you need any help on any of the candidates, of course, it's my personal opinion, but being in the political circuit, ever since I've been in this town, I have a pretty general idea, at least with the regents, who's more qualified or who's not. A lot of people put their name in the hat, and that is a problem, especially when you need somebody who, it's gotta be highly qualified, especially for education. You have to understand what it's like to go to college and, write papers and be with committees and all that. So personally, been in town 25 years. I have a master's from UNR and UNLV. Currently the president of UNLV Veterans Alumni Club Veterans. I have graduated from UNLV. And then we have, I was also a board member on Project Focus, which helped adults with intellectual disabilities and high-functioning disabilities get college education. And we also helped them get jobs, so through the Department of Education.
Is that the focus group?
I need
Part of
that.
Project Focus, yes. Yeah, Dr. Baker's a good friend of mine. So I've been a nonprofit, I've been a law enforcement, I was a middle school teacher, high school football coach for many years right here at Sierra Vista. So I'm a Desert Storm veteran. I have all the experience for this position, and that's why I chose to run for it. I always tell candidates it's important if you're going to run for something, you have an idea what it's about and that you're qualified for the position. So I have these baseball cards to hand out, and if anybody has any questions about it, I know it's not senator or governor and not as exciting, but I like to educate people on the process, and it is nonpartisan. So I get this asked all the time that I'm done. If you're a registered nonpartisan, in a primary, you can only vote for nonpartisan races, which are school board, state board of education, judges. When you are a party affiliated in a primary election, you can only vote for your party. In a general election, doesn't matter what you're registered as, independent, nonpartisan, you can vote for anybody. So all the questions are always like, well, geez, I'm a libertarian and I can't vote in the primary. There's a ballot measure coming out that in 2026, the goal is to change that to where regardless of what your party is, you can vote for everyone, and as it should be. It's a money thing.
Yeah.
So it's gonna cost about $12 million to change that, and we're getting some good grants and all that in to change it. So, if anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer.
How many regent positions are open?
I believe, I'm in an open seat, like the incumbent in this seat, she actually lives in Elko, is not running again, so it's an open seat. I believe there's 4.
4,
4 out of the 13, yeah, some are turned down, some just don't wanna do it again, and,
but you can only vote in your district.
correct.
How long's the term for?
6 years. 6-year term, it is unpaid. It is unpaid, and I would say that a successful regent needs to put in about a good 20 to 30 hours a week.
Unpaid?
Unpaid. And so we always talk about, I say politicians, but people in politics that were making all this crazy money. legislators are unpaid as well. They make $150 a day per diem. So the only positions that are paid are the county government positions, right? The county clerk, assessor, recorder, public administrator. Outside of that, there's not much. I mean, unless you're like a governor, lieutenant governor, those come with some little salaries. But the bulk and the majority of those that run for office are unpaid positions. The sacrifices that we make, you know, you get beat up in the press, no matter how great and grand you are, whatever it may be, is stirs a lot of people from wanting to do it.
But exposure.
It is, and for me, you know, it's something I've always done. I'm very passionate about it. I don't worry about all that other kind of stuff. I just worry about when I get there, you know, serving the people and making some great change. And I will say this, is that a lot of people don't run for positions because they feel like they can't make a change. I'll tell you this, all anything ever needs is a few good men and women. And that is a fact. We've had some political positions or departments that were completely falling off, and some good people got in there and turned it around and made it very, very successful. So I appreciate your support, you know, and again, it's nonpartisan, and I'm here for everyone and all the people. Two things that I'm done, Mark, is my biggest platform is bringing a business approach to the regions. I'm also a landscape designer outside of real estate, so if you need landscape, I can help you out. Is that we, the regions typically rely on legislative money budget 60% of the time. So 60% of their income comes from Carson City. We gotta stop doing that. We keep handing our hand out. We have a catastrophic event or a pandemic, that money's not there, right? Now, people don't have a job, tuition goes up. We have tons of land at UNLV across the street. I want us to think like business people, right? Like commercial real estate, and build, you know, get long-term leasing from commercial space and business parks, you know? And so that is my, one of my mission statements. Obviously, when you have revenue coming from different streams, then we don't have to keep hitting the pockets with tuition, okay?
Are they gonna ever build a pedestrian bridge over Maryland Parkway?
There is talks of that, yeah. I've actually seen, yeah. It's gonna take the whoever buys the land across the street, you know, to do that. Part of that plan, for sure. And there was one last thing I forget. So, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Well, for Aaron, like I say, he's one of ours. All right, let's move on.
Was that it over there ringing earlier?
All right, so hydration for the homeless, it's a real issue, and we can make a small dent in it by collecting water, and we're gonna have them pick it up on July 29th, is that correct? July 29th of 2021. So we'll get with Nicole, find out what the pickup. I think we only have another week or so. So I've already committed to 20 cases myself. I'll probably do more than that. So just bring in cases of water. If you don't have somebody at the store load it up for you, and we'll have somebody here. Sir Angel can load it up or help us. All right, blood drive coming up July 18th, 10 to 4 in this room. I give every time I possibly can. So there's a number right here, 866 number to register for that. Happy hour.
Hey.
Who was here last Friday for our happy hour?
First time, it was a lot of fun.
First time, and it was a lot of fun, yeah. We do have a lot of fun, a lot of networking going on. It's not all about the alcohol, it's about but we just have a lot of fun, a lot of networking. We have snacks, and just have a good time. Last Friday of every month, so it'll be June 24th of this month. Can't believe it's already June. All right, Mary Poppins, the musical, coming up at Spring Mountain Ranch State Park. Just found out that we have 59 have signed up for it so far. Who here signed up?
So much fun.
Oh, wait, $20, I guess I didn't pay. I'm on it.
Yeah, you gotta,
What
you
is
gotta,
I emailed. How do I pay?
You go to a link, that's the.
ask Nicole for the link.
Okay.
She'll give you the link for it. You
I
can
just-
pay,
sure you can-
you
I
can
just
pay them direct,
RSVP'd.
not us. What's that?
I just RSVP'd.
That's not enough. You gotta pay. All right, every Friday, we have a Team Spirit Friday where you wear your favorite sports team's jersey. And it started last Friday, and I was the only one who wore it.
Oh.
Yeah, I was so disappointed. But every Friday, wear whatever team you like and wear their jersey. Doesn't, baseball is going on right now. It doesn't have to be baseball. Could be basketball, football, Golden Knights, whatever. If you're gonna wear a hockey jersey, it better damn well be a Lakers. That's all I got to say. All right, next week's meeting is, who has heard Mike talk before? He's awesome. He's gonna be talking about lead generation, appointment setting, checklist, time management. He is awesome. He's an agent out of our Green Valley office. He did a meeting for us, probably a year and a half ago now. It was during the pandemic, so it was Zoom only. Awesome, so be here next Thursday for our meeting. All right. This is your weekly reminder about Remind, but we're not going to be talking about Remind, we're going to be talking about Sky Slope forms. So just know, all you need to know is transaction desk is going away. So I wouldn't go to Remind at this point, because we are bringing in Sky Slope forms. Sky Slope has not released it in Nevada yet, but they will. So the benefit to you all is that everything's going to be within Sky Slope now. You don't have to create your transaction in Transaction Desk or Remind and then upload it into Sky Slope. Everything will be, and people are saying, well, there's already forms in Sky Slope. Yeah, there's forms in there, but it's not Sky Slope forms. Sky Slope forms is the ability, where's my phone again? The ability to create the transaction within Sky Slope. So
That's the program, Sky Slope.
called Sky Slope forms. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully it'll be soon. There will be. It's a great question. We will provide a lot of training for this. Yeah.
So you'll be able to e-sign and docu-sign?
Yep. Everything right from there.
So
Shawnee, you have anything about mortgages you want to talk?
Unless they have any questions.
Any questions about? We don't want to know about rates.
Yes.
Although they did come down a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah,
Look.
and also we can give a lender credit to buy down the rate.
They can do lender credits to buy down the rate. All right.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Hey, Stephanie, come join us.
Your face is on screen.
Hi.
So who knows Stephanie Ellis? Some of us
One
do.
of the Escrow officers know.
But before we get started, real quick, I want to introduce another Stephanie. Stand up. So this is Stephanie Woods. She is our new OA up front, so give her a very warm welcome. But you know what, don't be mean to her, we don't want to scare her away or anything. She's awesome and such a welcome addition to our staff here, so. All right, so.
I'm sorry, did you want me to? Yes, okay, great. So I'm Stephanie Ellis, for anyone that doesn't know who I am. Barbara's still here, she's just out today, and so they put a slide with me, but I'm here for you as your marketing and sales executive with our title. That's it. Did I say Barbara? I meant Felicia. Sorry. Just we had a conversation earlier, and I'm sorry. Felicia's out as well, so it's just me all, so. That's it, sorry.
So you want to help me introduce our panel?
Oh, sure. I would be thrilled to introduce the panel.
Awesome.
So we've got,
So Stephanie's going to help me moderate the panel as well as Shane is. So let's bring them on up. Who we have first?
well, let's see, Desiree Holmes. Why don't you come right here, Desiree?
Who all knows Desiree Holmes?
Desiree Holmes is a escrow officer extraordinaire, also at our Southwest location, right over here on Russell and 215. And you've been with ROC how long?
Over 5 years.
Over 5 years.
Yes.
We've got Brad, who also is over at our Southwest location. And Brad, you started with ROC in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You took a little leave from us, but you've come back home.
Stepped away for 3 years and now I'm back.
And now he's back. So then we've got Eugenia Schmidt. Eugenia is new to ROC Title, but we're thrilled to have her on the team. She's also at our Southwest location. And so she's new to ROC, so you don't have the tenure, but you've got the experience, and we love having you. So I'm gonna let Mark, what do you have to offer?
We also got Debbie right here.
Oh yeah,
too,
Debbie's
but
here, yes.
She didn't make it today, so we have one more escrow officer located at the Southwest office, so.
Absolutely.
We wanted her here, but she's
Not feeling well.
Under the weather.
Not feeling, yes, so, we don't want anybody that's not well
Yeah.
here.
Stay home.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, so, let's get going. So, I'm gonna ask questions, Stephanie's gonna ask questions, Shane's gonna ask questions. And if you guys have questions, we welcome your questions as well. So, again, Desiree, how long you been with ROC?
Over 5 years, so almost all of ROC's existence. I was like, Shane's the only person that was here longer than me now, technically, in this room.
And Shane, how long you been with ROC?
In December, it'll be 7 years.
Stand up, Shane.
No.
Who knows Shane? What do you do, Shane?
So I'm in charge of the sales and marketing for ROC Title. So I assist with all the marketing side of things. If you, as an agent, need help out there and about, I bring on all the tools and all the things that ROC Title is able to provide for free to help you in your business.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Shane's gonna be helping with the moderating the panel as well. Brad, so you're just back, what, half a dozen
I've
months?
been back, yeah, I've been back for 2 months. I spent 7 years in California with Realty One Group. Came out here, helped to start up ROC Title. Left because I thought the grass was greener. It's not greener. Decided to come back, and they were gracious enough to invite me back. So glad to be home.
And we're happy to have you.
So happy to have her back here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who hired you?
Did you really hire her?
Yes, it was a little bit of everybody. Like, we have this standing joke that I've had like the most interviews at ROC Title, but it was like Brad, it was Shane, it was Damon. Like, yeah, so a little bit of everybody. A little sprinkling. Tara had a little something to do with
I was
it
part of, I
too.
think, 3 of the 5 or 6.
Yeah, exactly.
How long have you been in the business?
I've been in the business, oh gosh, of course, Natasha, you're gonna ask me that to age myself. Over 2 decades, can I just say that? A very long time? Yes.
I have a question about HOAs.
Okay.
So if you order the HOAs, how long does it last? Does it last for 90 days?
Each HOA is different, but it's generally 15 days from the time that we receive the demand from the HOA company. So instead of going and ordering another demand, as you know, we just ask your sellers to get us a ledger. We can't get a ledger directly from the HOA, they won't give it to us, but they have to provide it to your sellers for free. So we just get an updated ledger to show their most current payment, and we attach that with our expired HOA demand, and we're good to go.
So that's the demand, the actual HOA packet, all the documents are good for 90 days.
Yeah, the resale package,
The demand,
yeah.
because that can change, is not.
I see.
The 90 days.
With a ledger. Thank you.
Yeah.
The HOA is always trying to get extra money out of us, and we hate to.
Oh my goodness.
They'll charge you like an
Right?
extra $200 just to update the buyer, and we avoid that as best we can.
Got it. Yes.
So, and Eugenia, how long have you been in the business?
I've been doing escrow since 2019, and I recently transferred to ROC Title on March. I gotta say that I do feel very loved by agents at this office. I'm working with a few of you, so thank you very much.
Here's a question for all of you. Which is the best Realty One office?
Southwest for sure, hands down, yeah. I mean, Brad hired me for this office, so I've been Southwest the whole time, so I'm diehard Southwest, like,
Someone is so
yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
Just
It'll
kidding.
always be Southwest, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about opening of escrows. So, I mean, we have a mixture of new agents and experienced agents, so I want to get something for all, but let's talk about opening of escrow. So, when an agent has a transaction, they have an accepted contract, what do they need to do to open the escrow?
Want me to jump in first?
Yeah, I don't care.
Opening escrow, I mean, first, obviously, you have to get a buyer and have a nice contract written up. So when you're opening with us, this is what I'm gonna suggest to you guys, cause this is what I see a lot. I always wanna give to you guys the information I see where situations kinda go obscure. So make sure we don't have access to SkySlope, like Mark was showing you. We don't have access to MLS. We have an amazing discount called the ROC Advantage discount, where a lot of you guys know if you write us into the agent-to-agent comments in the MLS, both buyer and seller get a 30% off of their escrow fee. But unless you provide that to us with your contract in the beginning, we can't give that discount. If you're not giving us the counters and addendums, we don't see them. The only way we get them is from you guys. We can't go into, like, I have a lot of agents think, okay, I put all that in SkySlope, everybody has it, everybody's on the same page, but that's not the case. So just make sure you're sending your contract, any counters you have, all the addendums, your MLS, so we can give you that discount right off the bat. I ask that my selling agents give me their buyer's email so we can get those wire instructions out to your buyers immediately, get that earnest money in so we get your file rolling. And then other than that, we just pretty much take it from there, and we'll let you guys know anything we need after that.
Just want to say, the reason we don't have access to SkySlope and to your file is because we're a different legal entity. We're not allowed to legally have access to your files, any more than you guys are allowed to have access to our files. It's a separation, it's a legal separation, it's healthy.
They call us disinterested third party, but we don't like to say that because we're very interested in all of our transactions and your files and your clients and keeping everybody happy, but.
Too.
Yes, thank you. But yes, so we have to remain neutral. And so, yeah, we take instruction directly from your clients, your buyers, your sellers, and that's in the forms of their contracts, their counters, and their addendums.
Yeah, also send over commission information, it's always hard to get that. Also send over your client's contact information.
Yeah.
We're always trying to pull that out of people as well.
And the other agents?
And the other agents,
Mentioned as well?
yep.
Mhm.
All the contact information that you have, go ahead and send it over.
Right. Now, Desiree, you did mention about putting in agent-to-agent remarks.
Mhm.
What gets put in agent-to-agent remarks, and why do we do this?
So it's for the 30% discount. It's like a small little verbiage in green that basically says title work begun at ROC Title, and then I think it's just like 30% savings.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's like one sentence basically. It's so quick and it saves money for everybody. It's a great bargaining tool to use if you're trying to negotiate with the other agent.
And
Stephanie.
if you ever are on the fly needing that language, a lot of us carry it with us as marketing, support. So please just shoot us a text. I have it in my phone, quick save, and I can send it to you. So if you're writing an offer or you're doing anything, you're like, what do I have to say? I have to say something, but I don't remember. I don't have the flyer. Just let us know. We'll provide that to you right away.
That's when you're listing a property.
Correct, when you list a property only. So what you're doing is it says title work begun with ROC Title. So that could be a soft preliminary report, a full preliminary report, a no before you list. We've done something for you to get you prepared for that listing, and then you can put that into the agent-to-agent remarks, and then it references the savings, 30% savings to the buyer and the seller when you close with ROC Title. So it's not saying that you prefer ROC Title, because that's kind of the no-no that you shouldn't say. You're not specifying anything other than just saying, we've begun, here's a savings, if you close with ROC Title.
Yeah, the
So you're not
verbiage has been
steering, you're
approved.
just giving information.
Yeah, it's approved by the division, it's approved by Damon, right there, speaking of the devil. But,
But we get a lot of pushback from
Yeah.
that. We get a lot of comments like, oh, my broker won't let me say it. Well, it is approved through the insurance division.
It is approved by LVR and the Division of Insurance, which is our governing entity.
Cool.
So both have approved it, and this was the verbiage that was non-steering, because both sides, it's not one-sided where one side is getting a better deal than the others. We're giving both sides a 30% discount, so it's beneficial to everyone. What we're doing is we're potentially looking into the property early to avoid any problems that would make our job a little easier in closing quicker and making it a little, so that's why we offer the discount, is to.
So could we say, please consider using ROC Title Or do we not even say please consider?
It should be the
Right, no, yeah,
specific
this-
verbiage we
yeah.
give you on the flyer, just to steer away from any issues. But also I wanna say, cause you mentioned, Linda, if you're a listing agent, but even if you're a selling agent, you can let the listing agent know, like, hey, you know, the title company I use, they offer this discount, if you're willing to put this, and a lot of times they will, not all the times, but a lot of times they will, and they like the fact that you're helping their client get a discount as well, so.
So they have to put it in their MLS.
Yeah, correct.
So other than the discount, what's the benefit or the advantage of coming to you guys first when we're taking a listing?
We're always available. And I mean, I know that a lot of you have proved that. I mean, you guys call my cell phone, text me. I mean, there are several ways to get communication go through. And we're very close as well. So that's very convenient for you guys anytime you guys have a signing, or even if you gotta pick up like marketing material. And also I wanted to add, we also have several other discounts that are good selling points when either you're a new agent or you need some type of discounts for your clients and you don't wanna take it away from your commission. We have a few other discounts for like first time buyers, military discounts, teachers,
First responders and teachers are the awesome ones, because like Eugenia's saying, a lot of other title companies don't have that. We still have an investor discount, which a lot of title companies have gotten rid of their investor discount, so we have any discount another title company has, and then some, so.
Unfortunately, you can't stack the discounts though.
Yeah, you only get one,
So-
just one.
But that's why this, we call it the RAP program, the ROC Advantage program, the one that we were just mentioning early on, is probably the best route to take if you can. But again, if let's say that you can't, the ROC Advantage program that we were just talking about earlier is probably the best one to take advantage of. But then again, like she's mentioning, if that one doesn't go through, let's say you're on the buy side and it still comes to us, but they didn't put it in there, there's a ton of other discounts that we offer, so we'll make sure you all have that information as well.
So what's a typical, there's first responders, teachers discount, is it the same for everybody?
No, there's different discounts for everybody, so the ROC Advantage is our highest at 30%, our senior discount is also at 30%, the rest are pretty much 25%. But we do have a real estate one as well for like you agents and stuff when you're doing your own deals, and that's 30% as well, so.
Real estate professionals.
Yes.
What is the age starting for the senior discount?
The senior discount starts at 55.
55, okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
I'm almost there.
Right, we drop it real low, it's real low, it's barely a senior. It's like,
He has a question.
yeah, it's like 55 is the new 25.
It is, I can't wait. Can you change that to middle age discount?
Yeah,
When you say that 30% is coming off of what?
the escrow fee,
Escrow fee.
That's
Yes.
what we own, not the.
not the title.
Title insurance.
Yeah.
Yep,
What do the
that's
escrow
what we
fees typically run, like a couple thousand?
It depends, it's based off of the,
The
Purchase price?
purchase price or the, yeah.
It has to be off the escrow fee, because the underwriters don't like us messing with the policies.
Yeah, we can't
It's
change
actually legal.
underwriter's
Yeah,
fees,
it's a
they're
legal
filed
And
rates.
that's clearly the buyer's escrow fee.
They're supposed.
Well, their escrow fees generally split 50-50,
Oh,
as we
okay,
know,
so
unless you guys
gotcha.
decide something different when you're negotiating the contract, but customarily it's 50-50, so paid by both parties.
And the first responders one again is which, how much is that?
First responders is 25%, yeah, and we could get you guys flyers for all that.
Let's suppose if the sale price is 500,000, so.
Oh, I don't know it off the top of my head, but we'll get you a rate sheet.
And
Yeah.
that's something else we have several tools where you guys can get like net sheets and stuff, so all of
Yeah.
you should already be signed up to it, but if you guys are not, give Stephanie
Yeah,
something.
reach
Yeah, our
out-
marketing
reach
reps
out
will
to
help with
Stephanie
that.
or Felicia.
Customer
they have those
service.
tools.
Jackie Nunez is our customer service manager, they're great at getting you guys know before you list, net sheets, all that stuff out in a very timely manner. Linda, you had a question?
Okay, this is a three-part question. Could you explain the procedure? We see it in the paragraph in the contract, the 1099 for sellers. Explain that, how FERC is handled and how, the 1031,
So 3 different topics, 3
Yes.
different subjects, none related whatsoever, yes.
We need to know how to explain it to our clients, because we're
You're right.
reading the contract to them. We need
But
to
let's,
focus.
yeah, let's do one at a time.
One at a
Go
time,
ahead.
yeah.
What's your first question?
1099, do all the sellers get a 1099?
Yes.
Yes and no. I mean, they do get the questions at the time of closing, so depending on their answers, they're gonna get a 1099 to file or
Yeah,
not.
they get a 1099 form to
Oh, I
fill
like
out, and the
it.
only way we don't give them a form is if it's in a corporation, like a LLC or something, they don't have to complete
How about a trust?
a trust. They don't have to complete it as well, yeah, so any individual seller will get the 1099 form to complete, and then depending on how they answer these questions will be if we generate a 1099 or not at closing.
And that's for their proceeds, reflecting their proceeds on the sale?
It's how much
It's on their
they,
capital
yeah,
gain.
it's so they can provide that for tax purposes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then now the 1031, if you represent a buyer, they just have to sign certain forms, is that correct?
So the 1031 exchange documents that come from the exchange company.
Okay, but there's no cost to them or,
There's a cost from the exchange company.
but not to the buyer?
No, so 1031
It depends
exchanges,
on, if the buyer is doing a 1031.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna get
Yes.
charged.
Okay.
It depends on who's doing the 1031.
so ROC title does not have any fees, whether your seller or your buyer is doing a 1031 exchange. We're there to help facilitate that transaction. So if it's a seller, the proceeds have to go to the 1031 exchange company. Your seller's gonna have to write that on their proceeds forms. If it's a buyer, we're gonna request the money from the 1031 exchange company.
Okay.
Generally, they send us the paperwork to have it signed. Generally, both buyer and seller have to sign it, no matter whose 1031 exchange it is. Sometimes they'll send it out themselves and provide it to us. And it's so simple for us. We deal with them
Okay,
all the
good.
time,
That's-
yeah.
Yeah, because that could be frightening to somebody who doesn't know what it is.
Yeah. Do we still have our own 1031 company? We used to.
I believe we do.
Yeah, I wanna say it was like one asset exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, cause I have a lot of you guys ask me who to use for 1031 exchanges, and there's IPX out there and all these popular ones, but yeah, if we can use our own, maybe get a little more info out on that for you guys, but
Okay,
yeah.
then the big one, what's the responsibility to the buyer on a FERC transaction?
The way that the IRS code is written, all the responsibility falls on the buyer. But in escrow states, the escrow company tends to take on that responsibility. We're the ones that withhold the money from the seller.
Okay,
We're the ones that complete all the forms, usually help or send out all the tax forms to the buyer.
The buyer is responsible for going on, like, we walk them through it, cause legally we can't do the forms for them. So we walk them through, we send them links, we provide them some of the forms, we kinda help them as best we can. But the IRS considers it their responsibility, the buyer's responsibility to write the exact amount we need to withhold, and then that's what we do and send it.
so is that on their social security number? I mean, how,
On the buyers, no. It's on the sellers.
On the sellers.
it's on the seller,
Well, it's not a social security number because we only withhold if there's no social security number.
Yeah.
It's a foreign investor investing in
right, so
property.
if the foreign investor, because they don't have a social security number, and then there's American or whomever, with a social security number buying it.
Yep.
How does it affect that buyer? What does the buyer have to do?
So as Brad said, the statutes read that it's the responsibility of the buyer, but really escrow handles all the forms and everything.
Okay.
So really the buyer doesn't do anything in this case, in Nevada, correct?
Correct. We withhold the money from the seller,
Okay,
and then if they don't come up with a social security number or a tax ID number, then we send it to the state that we're supposed to.
okay.
And
Okay, well,
just to
that's
add a little something to that, on a few meetings back ago, I mentioned that, cause Shani had mentioned the IT number program. So remember that even though that's not a social, we're not gonna withhold that 15% for them.
Okay, that's the amount, 50%.
Say that again?
Shani had mentioned that the IT number program came out, and just to make it clear, even though that's not a social, we're not gonna withhold money from them. If they can prove obviously that they're a resident from the state, that they've been here long enough, and that they work here and all of that.
So you're saying escrow won't withhold money from the
Exactly,
seller?
so they're not gonna be considered like FERPTA clients.
Them being the sellers?
Right.
Yes.
And remember remember too, important about FERPTA, it only applies if your purchase price is over 300,000 and the buyer doesn't intend to live in the property. If you have a purchase price under, which is probably rare right now, I remember when FERPTA never applied, but when our median was like 250. But, so if it's over, if it's 300,001, or if the buyer doesn't intend to live there, then FERPTA will apply. But it doesn't always apply just because you have a foreign seller.
And then so you withhold the money and then you disperse it to the IRS?
Yes, we send it to the IRS directly, then when they file their taxes, their CPA or whoever assists them with that, they usually get a refund on that 15%.
They, meaning they who?
The client, the seller gets money back. They don't usually have to pay the full 15% once their taxes come, but that's something for, again, their
And that's
CPA
the
will help
foreign
with that.
owner.
Yeah,
So,
the seller, yes.
all right, let's get back, go ahead, Shane.
Is it important to know if the clients will be out of town during the transaction?
Absolutely. That's very important to know.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, my deal, I'm like, I need a mobile notary.
Of course you do. Well, every escrow officer runs their unit a little differently.
I'm just like, why?
Natasha's one of my agents, so she knows that I quote a mobile notary fee from the beginning, especially on the buyer side, because with TRID guidelines, once you quote fees to the lender, Shawnee knows, we're not allowed to go back and change these fees once they're quoted. So we just kind of like overestimate a lot of stuff up front, and then if your client doesn't need a mobile notary, all that stuff gets removed at the end. But yeah, we have a ton of different mobile notary services that we work with that have really good notaries across
Nationwide.
Yeah, nationwide. Hawaii's a little difficult, we usually need a little more time for Hawaii because they don't have as many notaries out there, and because it's such a large area, they're kind of like scattered all around. But yeah, RON signings are really big right now too, so we have
Remote online notary.
Yep. Thank you, Brad. We have a lot of people using that now instead.
Ron Notary.
Ron.
Remote
They
online
can sign
notaries, yeah.
anywhere
Yeah.
in the world. That's,
So
Is it?
yeah, before if your client was in Japan or something, they'd have to go to the embassy and try to sign, or, if the country's a part of the Hague Convention, then we can have them sign with an attorney, but that's even difficult. So now with the RON signings, it's amazing. They just do everything online with
With a photo?
Well, yeah, they have to submit, there's some hoops they have to jump through. They have to submit their ID in like a JPEG. And they have to be able to answer like some obscure questions, and I've heard that some of these questions go so far back, like people are like, I don't even remember that, the actual people.
Name the address that you grew up on.
Yeah,
Street.
yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, so, but it's been helpful for a lot of sellers.
Yeah, super, super convenient for the sellers.
something to add there, our program, the software that we're using at ROC Title recently got upgraded. So now we have access to tons of notaries, so we can literally schedule the notary with an hour of advice. So that's awesome too.
I want to get back to listing agents that submit the listing to you. What do you guys do? Do you do a prelim, or do you look for clouds?
It depends on what they're asking for and how much time they have. If you guys are looking for something quick, we're gonna just get you a know before you list, because our customer service team can generate that quickly. It will tell you who's currently on title. It will tell you about any liens and stuff that are on title. If you ask for an actual commitment, ROC Title issues a commitment. We don't issue prelims. It's basically the same thing, but we're making a commitment to you that the things that are listed on here are true and accurate. It's actually a better product than the preliminary title report. So we can issue you a commitment, but just know if we're issuing that, you're not gonna see HOA stuff. I have a lot of my agents get worried about that. Our title department doesn't run that stuff on a commitment only or a prelim only. You won't see that until the full commitment is done, so don't think it's not there or it's not gonna exist or we won't have to deal with it later. We will, you're just not gonna see it on that original commitment only.
Please, please, please get a know before you list. Please do it.
Get a what?
Know before you list.
Yeah,
before you list.
know before you list, just like a quick little paper. Go ahead.
I have a question. I did one of those know before you list, and I'm pretty sure my client has a judgment against him and didn't come up on there. Why is that?
It didn't come up on the know before you list?
Right, correct.
Same here.
There's a deeper search probably.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah. Natasha, do you work for me?
No, but I'm going through one of these.
Right, yeah.
That's fine.
Aside.
Yeah, Statement of information. Shane's yelling SI at me. He wants to talk about statement of information, which is the SI. So that's like what I have buyers and sellers fill it out. Some escrow officers don't. I just think it's important to have the full picture from both sides, and it makes it easier for our title department as well. But that's a document that just asks like their name, their marital status, former marriages, where they lived, where they worked, their social. It just gives us the full picture, and we use that to clear any liens or judgments, because a lot of your clients are same name clients. You know, a John Smith. There's gonna be a lot of John Smiths out there. So
Yeah, if you have a
things,
common name, a lot
yeah,
of stuff's gonna show
a
up.
lot of
So
stuff's gonna
we have
pop
to narrow
up.
it.
Don't panic. It doesn't mean it all belongs to your client, but we have to use this document to help clear that.
So what about the HOA liens, and what it does when you have to go all the way through, what is that called? And then stuff starts popping up, like you don't see it in the first part.
But you see it when you actually open contract, and then
Correct.
you get your real commitment, and you see all the HOA liens. Again, nothing for you guys to worry about. That's what we worry about as escrow officers. That's why you have us and our expertise. We're ensuring that we're transferring this property free and clear to the new owner. That's literally our job. That is why we issue title insurance. So we take care of it, whether we have to contact the HOA directly and get that lien amount. A lot of times it's an attorney that we have to contact to get that demand from. We take care of all that, and we ensure that it's paid through escrow, and that way nothing is being transferred over to the buyer that doesn't belong to them, other than their new loan that they're probably getting.
What are the, go ahead.
So you send the statement of information to the client, or we send it?
No, we do, yeah.
So what are the most common liens or clouds that we're seeing on the transactions?
A lot of people feel like paying trash is not important. You owe the trash like $7,000, like come on.
Wait, you seen the $7,000?
Oh, yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
common.
Yeah,
Really?
true
Yeah.
story.
Wild question. So how do
Nobody
you
pays
get,
them.
how
It's
do you
so
get the
cheap
cloud off?
too, you know, it's like $40.
Well, like
$40
Desiree
a month,
say,
yeah.
everything has to be free and clear at the time of transferring,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
gotta make sure that we're paying that through escrow. Obviously, any kind of liens are gonna get paid through escrow,
Yeah.
so
To
the
cloud on the
remaining of
title.
the
So,
proceeds,
but once the
that's what
cloud
they're
is
getting.
cleared through the title, what's the process that you will see in your system?
So basically what you're saying is, how does it get removed? Is that what you're
Correct.
asking me? So like with trash, for instance, they have a $35 reconveyance fee. A reconveyance or a lien release are the documents that they record after they get paid, and that's what removes it from title.
Okay.
So we have a reconveyance company that works for us, Require, and it's their job to go out and make sure that the lenders are recording their reconveyances. Anybody we're paying off, it's their job to make sure these documents are being recorded after the fact to actually clear. Yeah.
So it could take like 30 days or?
Yeah, it could, depending on the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spousal interest always comes up a lot too.
That's
Yeah,
what I
like
was gonna ask
if
about
somebody buys a property, single man, they get married, they get divorced, then they go to sell the property, does that wife have an interest in the property? Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She does. He
And
bought it
that is
himself,
a
he sold it
community
himself.
property.
Well, if they're
Yeah.
married or if they're not, it doesn't matter, if they own a property,
No, if he owned it by himself,
Uh-huh.
he gets married, he gets divorced, he goes to sell the property, that spouse still has an interest in the property because Nevada's a community property state.
what if you guys own a home together and then you wanna do a 1031 exchange, or some kind of, loan out on the existing home? Does those,
Like a home equity line of credit.
so does that, the two owners, does that name trail? Or would it just be one?
The only way to change title of a home is to do a deed doing that. Getting loans, even though you're signing a deed of trust that may have your name and somebody else's name, that doesn't change who's vested on title.
Okay.
We have to do a deed specifically to do that. So that's why you'll see in your transactions, we record the deed of trust, but then we also record the deed going from the seller to the buyer. That grant bargain sell deed is what actually changes the vesting. The lender's deed of trust is just, you know,
And it
they
needs to
try
be
to match it
recorded
up,
at
yeah,
county recorder.
exactly, yeah.
Don't
Hi,
forget your
Martha,
drawer.
yes.
Awesome.
One more.
Yes, I was actually just asked yesterday, I have, two brothers who own a property in a trust, and one brother wants to buy out the other brother. I told him he needed to use a title company, that is correct, right? He says he doesn't need.
I mean, you don't technically need a title company, I guess, if you're just gonna give your property away to somebody, but then how are you protected? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You could go down to any deed Nevada legal forms, any deed preparation service and go out and change the title. I could go right now and be like, I'm gonna give it to Cynthia, like Des to Cynthia, and then I go down to Clark County Recorders and I record it, and now it's Cynthia's property. No money's exchanged hands, nothing's happened, I just agreed as the owner to give it to somebody else, you know?
That would be a quick claim deed.
But also knowledge is key, because that type of clients later on down the road, they wanna sell. So that involves like uninsured deeds and a lot of other documents that need to be prepared for the time of sale.
Now you've clouded your chain of title, basically.
If you go outside of escrow and do it, then you've clouded title.
Yeah,
That's
which
why
I
the
explained to all
recommendation
my
is to do it
agents.
through escrow, so that if they do wanna go to sell, they're keeping that chain clean.
Okay.
And a cloud title in that situation may be a simple thing, if it's your mom, it's dad, somebody you know, we just have them sign an uninsured deed affidavit. But if it's somebody you don't know anymore, you can't find, you can't see them, then you kinda are stuck, and then your deal's dead in the water, so. Uninsured deeds, we kinda do not suggest.
So Martha, there's a great follow-up to that, so let's say they've already done it.
They've already done that, like
Okay.
their dad left it to them, didn't use a title company, and it's in a trust, two brothers have it. So one brother wants to just buy out the other brother and just take him off, and still be in the trust, and.
Yeah, so make
Well,
sure
they
they
would
keep
have
a
to-
good relationship, because when time for selling comes, then he's gonna need the other brother again.
The
Oh, he's gonna need the brother again in the
Well,
future.
the first thing they need to do is modify the trust, cause you can't just buy somebody out and then leave it in that same existing trust. Trusts have successor trustees, all these people that are involved, so you would have to go back to the original attorney or whoever helped you prepare that trust, modify the trust. Then you would do a deed from the one trust to the new trust. Both brothers would sign, depending on how the trust reads. That's just like with LLCs and corporations and all this stuff we have. They're the ones that set out who's allowed to act on behalf of these corporations and trusts. It may be all of them have to sign, it may be only one's allowed to sign. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on the specific situation of those documents.
Okay, I'll have him.
It's a longer
you guys.
conversation.
We'll-
Yeah.
We're gonna work with
Yeah, we'll
that.
wrap back around
He's
to
gonna
that.
sell later.
Yeah.
So we see on TV all these commercials, someone could buy your house with a quick claim, you need to get all this insurance. Does that really happen in the real world, or is that service a scam? I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't think I've seen it. Have you seen one?
I've seen situations like where the elderly community right now is being taken advantage of in that way. And they are unfortunately having their houses sold from under them because they have a doctor who may not be necessarily on the up and up, deeming them incapacitated in some way where they're no longer allowed to act on their behalf. And then now somebody's appointed as a power of attorney for them, and that person is legally signing this document. But that's why, like, I know a lot of times it seems like we're asking for so much from you, but that's why we're doing this and doing our due diligence, is we're making sure these sellers aren't having their homes bought out from under them. That's why we just can't have people sign with any old notary they wanna use, and we don't know that notary, that could be their brother just signing, you know what I'm saying? It's very important that we do what we do, because that's protecting everybody's interest in the transaction.
So like the statement of information on the seller too.
Yep.
I just had a deal that mom signed a grant deed to the son. Mom passed away 2 days later. They recorded it 2 days after that. Now, 2 weeks later, they're selling the property. Everything was on the up and up, but from an underwriter's perspective, they're like, who are they trying to steal this house from? It's only, she passed away 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Are there any other heirs out there? Turns out, yes, there was. She has a sister. So the underwriter's asking for all this information. He wants a letter from a doctor. He wants something from the sister saying it's okay, and she acknowledged it. And he asked that same question. He's like, why do you guys need all this stuff? We're not doing anything wrong. It's like, no, but consider the timeline. 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, now 2 weeks later, you're selling the property. That raises red flags. That is a textbook example of how people's properties are stolen.
Yes.
These guys, luckily these guys were all on the up and up, but you had to get a lot of documentation from these
Like the
guys.
HOAs try to steal sellers' properties.
Well. That's different. You know, cause it's like if you homestead your property, like homesteads, I don't know if a lot of you guys know about a homestead, but you could put a homestead on your property, and it basically doesn't keep people from trying to put a lien on your property. Anybody could still go down and record something if you got a pool, you didn't pay for it, but it keeps them from being able to take your property because of that lien, is what a homestead does, yes. But there's still entities like the HOA, like your mortgage lender, like Clark County, if you don't pay your taxes, they can still come in and take your property regardless of if you have a homestead or not, so. It's,
Did you help, the seller,
You have to
the
fight.
buyers do the homestead at closing?
no, we only take people out of homesteads, like, a long time ago, and Shawnee will tell you, lenders used to make us take people out of homesteads to do like their refinance transactions and stuff. We don't really see that anymore, I'm not sure why, did something change on your guys' end where it didn't need to be a requirement?
As a lender, we don't advise on that, it's up to them. You know,
Gotcha.
it's
So-
not our-
I did a class, not a class, but I spoke at another Realty One office just yesterday, and Brad and Eugenia were there. We actually talked about homestead specifically at the Summerlin office. And so if anybody wants any information on that, you just go to clarkcountynb.gov, and you can reach out to me, I'll give you some information, but it's a great way to touch your client after close of escrow. And no, you cannot fill it out like any other document, it is for them to fill out, but it does protect them on getting sued, and a lien against them if the home has equity up to $605,000.
A lot of your clients will get it automatically in the mail once they purchase.
Yeah.
The homestead companies know, and they'll call us and they'll be like, is this real? I got this in the mail, they like,
And you
and
don't want them to do that, because that company is trying to sell them something and upcharge.
Yeah.
You can literally download for your client a copy of the Declaration of Homestead, I have a copy of it as well. That's a free document that you can download and mail to your client or tape to them Homestead and do a touch, and then they just need to get it notarized and file it, and at the recorder's office, and I think according to Mary Perry, it's $18, but I think it's like 40, it's
$42.
I thought Mary was wrong, it's about $40.
It's $42 to
You don't want
record in Clark
It's called
County right now.
Homestead.
I like it.
And also for your clients, this is only for their primary residence. They
Not in a
cannot have
trust.
like 3 properties and have a homestead on each property,
A
only
trust
primary.
homestead.
And these are buyers. Well, yeah.
Yeah, the new owners.
The new owners.
Just-
Yeah.
And it's not in a trust, they don't put it in a trust.
If you have a client working with NACA or someone like that who has to use a specific escrow, and then have a seller though who's like, I need to use a specific escrow company as well. NACA says that we're able to do dual escrow, but I can't get any information on how I write that into the purchase agreement or how that, how do I connect the two?
Well, that's a Mark question on how you write it in a purchase agreement, but,
I'll find out.
yeah.
You know, it's interesting that different states are different. When I was in Utah, you would have that. You would have the buyer using ABC title company and the seller using XYZ title company, and they would communicate, so.
Yeah, they call it,
yeah,
they call
it
it
is
split
possible.
title. I think there's maybe 3 states in the United States that do it.
Yeah,
Utah, Tennessee.
Yeah.
it was weird.
We don't really do that. What we do is like an escrow only. Sometimes if like ROC title, for some reason our underwriter can't insure it directly, then we can do the escrow for you, and then we give it to like one of our other title companies, like a First American or a Fidelity, and they're doing the title portion and we're doing the escrow portion. But that's mainly what we do. We don't really do split escrows.
Yeah, and that's what California is, you know, you can use one escrow company and a different title company. So it's interesting how everything's different in different states.
Yeah.